episode is really the first episode that starts to give us some answers, right? Because this episode starts off with Monica waking up in the hospital. She's just been blipped,
Yeah.
and it
And
gives us
can I
this.
stop you right
Mhm.
here? Just because in that instance, I feel like that may have made this episode maybe top one or number two, or at least top three episodes, because I wanted to see something come from the blip, you know? And in the MCU, we see all the instances of like the people coming back from Endgame, the people coming back from it wasn't Spider-Man Homecoming, it was Spider-Man, or was it Homecoming?
Far from
Far
home.
from
Far
home,
from home.
right, right. And
Mhm.
now we get another instance of people coming back from the blip. So um, at the end of the day, this may be the last reference to the blip that we get, because I feel like we're all blipped out. But I'm glad that they added it to this series.
And by that, do you mean the last reference to the blip in this series, or thus far? Is that what you're
Thus far, as far as actually seeing images of people coming back from the blip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I mean, I believe, have references of it in,
Right,
I think,
right. I'm
every
not talking
project
about
since
just
then, but
like
it's the
verbal,
last
like,
time we've seen
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. And what a way to kind of get a final understanding of not, we didn't really get that when we saw Endgame. When we saw Endgame, it was birds chirping, there was
Right.
like a warmth in the air, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone is happy. And this gives us the perspective and understanding that it was not the case for everybody.
Right.
For the most part, honestly, the blip seemed to be just as chaotic, if not even more so, than when everyone initially disappeared. So that's how this episode starts off. It's really, in comparison to the first three, where everything was fairly slow paced,
Mm-hmm.
we're mostly just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. This episode, in contrast, shined for sure. So definitely one of the top three, if not like one, like maybe top one for me, or two. So yeah.
I think that like now that you mentioned it, like when you said like birds chirping, I think in that moment, I wasn't thinking of chaos. I was more so thinking, I was like, Hawkeye got to talk to his wife. Like this is like such a happy
Yes.
moment, you know.
Hmm.
You can't imagine the craziness that's going on for the rest of the universe. Like I was gonna say the Earth, but like the rest of the universe, you know. So
Yes, yes.
it's kind of wild, and like this episode, it definitely like highlighted. It's not always a happy ending, because Monica, she's in the hospital. She meets up with her doctor, or not, or her mom's doctor. Come to find out that her mom passed 3 years previous, but then it was actually 2 years after that, after she disappeared. So that's when you like it hits Monica that she's been gone for 5 years total. You know.
Yes. And so I feel like this sets up this episode itself, I feel like sets up the tone for the rest of this stage, because every project since then, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, Eternals, I know mentions it, has some type of reference to what happened with the blip, right?
Right.
And I think the majority of the things we're seeing from this like stage so far is that a lot of bad things kind of came about it.
Mm-hmm.
In the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you see just how much kind of like injustice all throughout. Like the system is so broken, because it's just like it's not taking into consideration the people who are coming back, people who have always been here, and there's like just so much conflict. So I feel like this episode really sets the stage for everything else we see, blip related,
Yeah.
for this stage for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
pretty big.